Hi, I'm Tammy Fontana with All in the Family Counselling Centre Pte. Limited. Today I wanted to address a concept or a way to think about self-esteem. I often have a certain type of client who comes into me. They often are self-described as people pleasers. They will say they have low self-esteem. They're people pleasers. They're always trying to make other people happy. And one of the things and they'll also tell me too that in their people pleasing or their low self-esteem is they're so easily crushed by what their romantic partner says or what their employer says. So they're always up and down based on what other people tell them. And they'll say they have very low self-esteem. And one of the things I'm working with them is to first help them understand you don't have low self-esteem, you have other self-esteem. You have an other self-esteem. Because to have self-esteem, you have to have a self. And when one has a self, one knows who they are. They have an identity. They have boundaries. They don't people please to make themselves feel good. When one has self-esteem, they're aware that what they want and think and need can be different from another's, and that if somebody doesn't like what they do or what they say, they recognize that's about them in reaction to them. They don't internalize that as their self-worth. Because the problem when you have other esteem, you need other people to tell you you're good. You need other people to tell you your worth. Your worth is basically conditional on what other people think. And that's a problem because what that person thinks and likes and respect may not be what that person thinks and likes and respect. So people who are people pleasers and what they describe as low self-esteem or no self-esteem because they don't have a self often find themselves to be chameleons and changing and adapting to meet people. This is not healthy. This needs to be addressed. And the way that we address this in therapy is helping people to develop actually a self, to have an esteem, and to recognize that other people have their own self and they're about them. And this is where boundaries come from. And this is how we start to see people. So if you're somebody who is self-describing as people-pleasing, low or no self-esteem, who is your worth goes up and down depending on what your romantic partner says or work says or what somebody else says, this is a really difficult way to live, and it can be very, very painful. It can make you feel very isolated and lonely. But the good news is there's solutions to it. These are things I work with people in therapy, helping them develop their sense of self versus having their identity tied to others. The minute you give that away, you give people a lot of power over you, and you will feel frustrated, you will feel confused, and it's really hard, and it's a really horrible way to live. So if you want to get over that and start on a journey of healing and developing a sense of self, figuring out who you are, learning to love it and appreciate your unique self, that's something I help people do. Thanks.